I don't know what I'm doing. Hello and welcome. I just finished reading Cress, and thusly I have lots of fangirl feels. And I have Josh BookLover here, who is the one who lent me the Lunar Chronicles, and we're basically just going to, what do you call it? It's not fangirl, because you're not a girl.
Fan.
We're just gonna fan obsessively. That's why we're here.
Spoilers ahead, so if you haven't read them, go away.
We are going to spoil everything because I have no filter. So yes, now we begin with Cinder, and to be honest, I felt like it started a little slow. The whole time I was like, if it gets any more boring, I'm probably gonna stop reading. And then all of a sudden, like, halfway through, I just realized I was loving it, and it picked up, and I felt like the entire series just kind of carried on from there.
Cinder is definitely my least favorite in the series. I didn't really love the book until, like, the last 100 pages. It was just a little slow for me, especially with all the hype going around BookTube.
And I didn't go into it with that because A, I don't listen to hype, and B, you had told me that. And so I didn't quite have the expectations you have, and I think that was an advantage.
Everybody thought it was amazing, but personally it was my least favorite in the series.
Cinder and Scarlet both, I think, began kind of slow, but both of them have such phenomenal climaxes. And I did really love it. Like, I keep saying that, but I actually really enjoyed the beginning. And Cress really broke that mold. Cress is just amazing from start to finish and is perfection.
Okay, we should probably talk about the plot of the first book or something.
Yeah, oh my gosh, Cinder's car. I know that's a weird thing to obsess over, but I just love Cinder's car. I love all the little fairy tale details. And the car that looks like a pumpkin, and of course her losing her foot instead of the shoe was just classic and exactly what I was expecting, but it was still perfect. I felt that way all the way through Cinder. Like, there was not a plot twist that shocked me in any way. Like, I expected everything that happened, but everything that happened was so perfect that I didn't care. I mean, it's a fairy tale retelling. Of course, it's going to have expected things, but it just worked.
I really liked how they changed all the details like that. I really liked the fact that Cress was basically her fairy godmother.
I loved the inclusion of Cress, who obviously we knew was going to be super relevant. I just loved those little details and the way everything connected, which I think was my struggle with Scarlet. I didn't know how she and Wolf connected. I should have. Like, I should have realized that her grandmother was the one who helped smuggle Cinder, like, obviously. But I didn't realize that, and thusly I just kept being like, I don't know why you people are relevant, and I want to be reading about Cinder and Kai.
Did you expect Cinder to be Princess Celine?
Oh yeah, like, pretty much from the very beginning. I also figured out Dr. Ireland was a lunar really fast, but I didn't know if he was good or bad, and honestly I'm still not 100% sure, because he's kind of both.
Pretty sure he was good.
I know, but he did a lot of really bad things. Like, even when he was trying to be good, he was still killing cyborgs and, like, taking advantage of the Cyborg Protection Act and things. I mean, I know it's a war, and sacrifices have to be made, but I just think that he was a little cavalier in killing people, and, like, he just wanted to win the war, and he didn't really care who got hurt in the process. But I love him. Like, he's, like, my favorite character, so it's not like I'm arguing that he's a villain. He's a complex character, and I like that about him. Cries forever. But yeah, I don't think there was a plot twist. The only thing in Cinder that I really found unexpected was Peony's death, and that did surprise me and made me so mad. That scene frustrates me to no end. Like, why didn't Cinder just shove the antidote down her throat? She was alive for like 10 minutes, and Cinder's like, you need to drink this. And you're like, no. Just plug her nose and shove it down her throat. Like, idiot. Ugh, that scene is frustrating.
That really was the worst part of the whole book.
When she was going to Peony, I'm like, either she's going to be dead or she's going to get the antidote, right? Like, obviously those are our two choices. And when she gets there and Peony is, like, alive and talking, I just kind of, like, exhaled in relief. Like, oh good, she's gonna save her. And then she wastes all this time. And I just feel like the one thing that really gets me is I feel like nobody responds to death realistically in this series. Like, Cinder's reaction to Peony's death, like, I know there's a lot going on, and it does at least come back to it often. Like, she does keep her chip and things like that. But there was never a moment where I felt like Cinder's life had crashed around her because her sister had died. Peony was, like, the only one who ever cared about her besides Aiko. And Aiko, I mean, I love Aiko, but she doesn't really count. She's an android. That felt really prejudiced. I love Aiko. I really, really do. And she does have a lot of emotions. Like, in Cress, she hugs Cinder, and she's trembling with joy, and Cinder comments, like, in her head, an android trembling with joy. Like, obviously, she's way more humanoid than most androids. But Peony was the only human who cared about her. And she dies, and, like, there was just never that moment of, like, what am I going to do now? That I feel like happens when someone you care about dies.
I feel like you should talk about your feels on Levana.
I love Levana. Like, I hate Levana. Of course I hate Levana. Levana is despicable and disgusting, and I can't get over her trying to kill Cinder or, like, mauling Winter's face and, like, the horrible, horrible things that she's done. But she's so awesome. Lunars are so awesome. Like, their mind manipulation. I mean, I know you hate Levana, but you have to admit she's cool.
Yeah.
And I love Cinder being afraid that she's turning into Levana, because I think a powerful story, the hero and the villain could be the same. Like, they have enough in common. They're antithesis of each other, but either one of them could have gone the other direction and become the other. And I really like that that's emphasized, that Cinder could very easily become what Levana is. And she's afraid that she is, because in war we have to become something that we don't necessarily want to be. Which, I mean, goes back to Dr. Erlin's choices. I like that it shows that moral struggle, but not in a, like, I don't feel like bad is ever seen as being okay, but it still shows that war leads to moral conflict. What do you think of the Lunars?
They're super interesting, and I just want to learn more about them. Like, the more we go on into the series, the more we learn about them, but we still don't know everything. And
Well,
I'm really, really wanting to know.
I'm excited because I feel like part of Winter is going to take place on Luna. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit of Crest did, but, like, a few scenes with Scarlet. And I feel like we're going to get a good amount on Luna in Winter, and I'm looking forward to that.
They're so creepy, though.
Right? Oh my gosh. And the fact that they, like, go insane if they don't use their powers. So basically their choices are be evil or be crazy. And I'm appreciating that Winter chose crazy. Because Winter is the best. She already has a good chance of being my favorite character, and we've only met her once.
Okay, I think we should talk about Scarlet now.
I think Scarlet was my least favorite. I really, really like Scarlet and Wolf, and their story is interesting, but you're thrown into their story expected to care, and I'm like, I really just want to read about Cinder and Thorn and Kai and, like, that story, and this whole thing is going on. I felt like that section was longer than it maybe needed to be. But the whole time I felt like I'm going to like this better in reread once I know these characters and I know why they're important and things. So I'm already looking forward to rereading it because I feel like I'll like the beginning more.
It really was the complete opposite for me, because when I was reading Scarlet, I was really more invested in Scarlet's story than I was with Cinder. But once Thorn came in, that was pretty good. I loved Thorn, so that was great.
I didn't like Thorn. I mean, I liked Thorn fine, but, like, everyone was like, you're going to love Thorn. Thorn will be your favorite. And I'm like, Thorn is a sissy. He's effeminate, he's ridiculous, he's a womanizer. Like, why am I supposed to like this guy?
And now you love him.
And now I love him because he's wonderful. I finally joined the Thorn. I'm still a Kai girl, though. I'm a hardcore Kai girl. Like, all about the Kai.
Yeah, but I was definitely more invested in Scarlet's story throughout the whole thing. I didn't...
You just don't like Cinder and Kai as much as I do, I don't think.
No, I love Cinder and Kai. I love Cinder and Sky more than I love Scarlet and Wolf. It's just... I didn't find their story as interesting.
Well, I really like the political intrigue.
Yeah.
I like all of Kai's sections.
You like more of the political stuff. I like more of the action.
I like a good mixture. I do like Scarlet, like, shooting Wolf, which is, like, my favorite scene of all times. And I love that he's just like, good job. Like, I'm glad to know that you really would shoot me. I'm just like, you guys have such a healthy relationship, it's ridiculous. I love how different all three love stories are.
Yeah.
Like, completely different.
Yeah, Cinder and Kai's is mature. Theirs is passionate, and then
Cress
Crescent Thorns is like fangirling.
Yeah. It's totes adored. Like, that's the only way to describe them. No, but Thorn is killing me. Like, the conversation where he's like, you're not still in love with me, are you? And she's like, yes, I am, but she can't say anything, and he can't see her. And he's like, yeah, I didn't think so. I'm just like, dang it, he finally knows that he's in love with her, but it's ridiculous.
But he
So
won't
ridiculous.
admit it.
He won't admit it because he doesn't think that she's in love with him, and doesn't think she should be in love with him. And she can't admit it because she doesn't realize he's in love with her, and so she doesn't want to seem ridiculous anymore.
Just want them to be a thing. They're like my OTP forever.
Oh my gosh, I just love Cress. I love her imagination, and like that she uses that to get through situations, and that she hasn't learned that she shouldn't tell people about that. So like when she and Wolf are going into the wedding, and Wolf's like, "Are you okay?" She goes, "I am a famous actress."
I love it when she does that and doesn't tell anybody.
She says to Thorn, "I am a famous explorer." He's like, "What are you talking about? Are you okay?" She makes so much sense. That's the thing. Like, she's the fangirl who only ever had internet access but actually had no social interaction. She's us.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Scarlet, I really like the underground society of wolves. That was cool.
That was interesting.
I loved Paris. Like, being in Paris was really cool. It was very vivid.
It was really sad when Scarlet's grandma died.
Oh my gosh. The deaths in these books frustrate me to no end. I'm like, the entire quest was to save her grandmother, and you failed. And only because Wolf was like 5 minutes late.
Gosh, dang you, Wolf.
And I kind of blame her grandmother. Like, if she'd held out, Wolf would have got there. Like, she caused her own death because she baited Wolf's brother. Right? What was his name?
I think so.
It starts with an R.
Ratatouille.
How do you say Wolf's name? Like Wolf's real name?
What is his real name?
Z-E''E''V.
Zev?
I said it Zev. I kind of read it Zev, but usually I read it Zev. I have a character named Zev, but he doesn't have an apostrophe.
How do you say Scarlet's last name?
Oh, what is her last name? Benoit?
Yeah, that's how I say it too.
Benoit? That sounds like really hardcore American accent. It might be Benoit, but I think Benoit. Except like with a French accent, it probably sounds way better than what I'm saying.
Who's Jail? Is that like the leader of the wolf group? Jail?
Yes. He's the thaumaturge, whatever.
Thaumaturge.
Thaumaturge.
That's how I say it.
Of the wolves. Of that
Yeah, I'm
group.
pretty sure I say Zev.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were looking for his brother's name.
Yeah,
That's why
I
we were here.
know, but...
He just shut up.
Ran?
Yeah, Ram.
Okay, Ran. That's his name.
We had to know. I'm trying to remember everything that happens with Scarlet. So much happens.
I thought the whole train thing was really cool. That train was kind of awesome.
My only struggle is there's an episode of Chuck where they're on a bullet train, so I kept imagining it as Chuck. True story. But I feel like her descriptions are super vivid. Like, I really feel like I was on the train. I really feel like I was in Paris.
Yeah, but they're like not too detailed that it's really boring.
She doesn't like spell out the descriptions. I'm not really sure how she brings me so vividly into these places, but she really does. The fight where Scarlet goes to find Wolf, that scene is like forever ingrained in my mind, and it was perfect. And I do love Wolf. Like, he is so complicated because I feel like he's just such a big sweetheart, but he's genetically engineered to be a monster, and that's a struggle.
Frankenstein monster.
I was actually thinking more of general werewolves, because that's the thing about werewolves, is they're usually showed as being very mild-mannered men who then turn into werewolves and eat people, and that's what makes it so horrible, and that's why I love werewolves, because it's like the ultimate tragedy, and I love it.
The whole book, I was expecting him to be an actual werewolf.
I did too.
Like, I wasn't expecting the whole genetically modified lunar thing. I was completely convinced he was a werewolf.
Well, I thought that they were genetically engineered, because it's science fiction, but
yeah.
I did think there would be a literal transformation of some sort.
Yeah, but no.
But I really like the way it is. It's way more disturbing. Like, the image of them tearing people's throats out. And I can't get over the fact that Wolf tore out his brother's throat. And, like, as much as I hate Ran, and Ran needed to die, I just, like, ew. I feel like if I was Scarlet, I would have issues kissing that That's where my brain goes naturally, but seriously, it's gross.
I do like Wolf, though. He's awesome. I think he's my least favorite, but it's just because all the other characters are so good.
Truly, the greatest thing about this series is its characters. I love all of them, and I want to be all of their friends, except Kai, because I want to marry Kai.
Okay.
I just love
It's okay,
Kai
I want to
so
marry
much.
Cress, so.
But no, I love all of the characters, and Scarlet and Wolf are my least favorites, but I adore them. I feel like if they were characters in their own book, they would be, like, my favorite characters ever. But in this book, I'm like, compared to everybody else, you're just not as cool. I already think Winter is my favorite. I just love her so much. Snow White is one of my absolute favorite fairy tale princesses. And the fact that it's clear she hasn't been turned evil in spite of living in this society is amazing. I do kind of think that they're gonna end up just putting a chip in everybody so they can't use their powers, which would be an interesting solution, but it would make sense. I mean, they keep saying nobody should have that much power. Nobody should be able to control someone else like that. And I feel like I agree with that. Like, as hard as it is to block a natural ability that somebody has, I mean, that's like saying the cyborgs shouldn't be able to use their power because they're more powerful than humans. But at the same time, when you can use your power to control other people, that probably should be stopped. It's a difficult ethical question. What do you think? Should they block the Lunar's abilities?
I don't know.
Even some of the Lunars would be okay with that, obviously. I think Winter would appreciate not being crazy, and Jason would appreciate not being controlled. So we definitely know they would be okay with it. I also am really curious as to where that power came from.
Yeah.
I mean, the, like, superhero nerd in my brain goes radiation of some sort. I also have a theory that, like, they mated with some weird aliens that we don't know about.
The whole lunar thing going on about blocking their powers, I mean, it would be helpful for some lunars, but I mean, like, I would feel bad for all the other lunars who, like, I'm sure there are some who aren't evil.
It's so hard, though. Like, how do you use that power in a non-evil way? I mean, Lunar. I should call it Lunar. Cinder is using it to fight the war, but even then...
What's she gonna do with her powers when the war's over?
And even in the war, she feels guilty for using it, and it's... I don't know. It's complicated.
It's a Slytherin power.
It really is. And there are good Slytherins, so maybe there's a way to use this in a positive way. But I feel like it gives you too much control over another person, and it's impossible to trust a Lunar because you have no idea how you really feel about them. The camera died. We don't really know what we're doing, but we never do. I don't know what has been recorded, so I'm just going to start with... I feel like the beginning of Cress could have been really slow because they trekked through the desert for like ever and ever and ever.
But it was great.
Because Cress and Thorn are the most adorable thing that ever happened.
They're just fabulous.
And him trying to be perky while he's blind and stumbling through the desert with this crazy girl. And then they get kidnapped by caravanners, which was distressing.
I thought they were gonna be nice.
I so didn't want them to be evil that I refused to believe that they could be. Like, I was just like, no, they are awesome. No such luck. But I just really love the scene where the one guy is, like, asking Thorn how much he wants for Cress. And Thorn is, like, trying really hard to pretend like he's totally going along with this. But he's just like, no, you can't buy Cress. She's worth so much more than you realize. And he just loves her so much.
And I love that he gave Aiko a droid so she could have a body.
Oh, it's so fab. And I love her, like, glump snogging him. Like, I have a body now. I can kiss Thorn. And Thorn is just like, whatever. It's cool. And Cress is meanwhile like, I'm going to kill her.
Cress wants to kill everybody who talks to Thorn.
That's because Thorn flirts with everybody. I love how ridiculously flirty Thorn is, but he's not actually into any of the girls he flirts with. Like, he pretends to be. I feel like Thorn pretends to be a lot more shallow than he really is.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he acknowledges the fact that, of course, Cress has a crush on him, but at the same time, he's like, you're not actually in love with me. You've never met anybody else. And also, I'm a horrible human being. So, no. And I just really appreciate that about him. I also really appreciate him promising to kiss her before she dies. Other interesting stuff is happening in Cress, like the wedding, which I always just go back to the scene in Scarlet where he announces his betrothal and So Cinder throws her shoe at the port screen and is like, "You idiot! You can't marry her!" and gets really mad.
It was just the jealousy talking.
I love that definitely plays into it. Like, that there is so much logic. We can't let him marry Levana. We can't let Levana be the Empress. Like, there's so much logic behind it. And then there's so much just, he can't marry Levana because I love him. And I like that both exist and that that's okay. I mean, I don't think she would stop the wedding if it was just jealousy.
She might try. She's a persistent lady.
Yeah, she is. And I can't get over her kissing Kai at the end of Cinder because, like, it almost made sense and then it was like, did you really think that was going to do anything? No, you just really wanted to kiss him. That scene is my favorite. I love how ridiculously unromantic most of the kisses are in this book. Like the scene in the elevator where they almost kiss and then instead she falls over. And their real kisses at the ball where like ridiculousness is going on and he's like, what is happening? And then Cress and Thorne's first kiss being in the middle of a battle and him being like, well, we're gonna die and I promised to kiss you first, so this is happening. And then him like shooting people totally blind. Make sure I don't shoot anybody we like. I feel like there's an intelligent conversation in here somewhere, but I really just want to fangirl over the fabulousness of everybody.
We could discuss Jason.
I love Jason. I love Jason. How do you feel about Jason?
He kind of annoys me.
He's a total jerk. My theory is that Jason is a jerk because he's never been allowed to be. He's had to be so polite and so careful and just submissive. And now he's with a group of people that he doesn't have to submit to. And so it's just like, whatever, guys. Like, I don't know. All of his jerkiness is coming out at once. And I kind of adore it. I don't feel like Jason really knows who he is because he's never had the chance to be a person. Right now, he just wants to win the war and for this to be over. And then maybe he can figure out who he is.
And be with Winter.
And be with Winter because I am so convinced that they are in love. Like I was kind of already convinced. And then when she describes him as, like, having the sun in his smile or whatever, and I'm just like, yeah, you guys are in love.
She's talking about him with Scarlet.
And Scarlet's like, the sun in his smile? Whatever. Scarlet is so sass. Like, Scarlet is all the sass. No, I find Jason so intriguing. I trust him implicitly. Like, I went through a long time with Jason where I'm like, I do not trust you. You are actually a spy or whatever. And now I'm like, no, you are wonderful and I love you.
I think I like him more when he's with Winter, so it's all good. I want to see how Winter and Scarlet's relationship changes.
I have a feeling they'll become friends against Scarlet's will.
He's like, I love you like an insane little sister.
Yeah. Oh, it was so sad how she talked about, like, how she's only ever had 2 friends. And you can tell one of them was Cinder. I'm really excited for her and Cinder to reconnect, even though obviously Cinder has no idea who she is. Like, doesn't remember her, but it will be sweet.
I'm really confused about Winter seeing, like, the blood on the walls and stuff that nobody else can see.
Well, I think it's symbolic of all the people who have died and all the blood that's on the hands of the Lunars.
Yeah.
I loved that.
It was really interesting.
I felt like that was really powerful imagery. She seems so crazy, but I feel like she's way more aware of what's going on than probably most people on Luna are. I think she's going to be such a powerful character, and I am just so excited to get to know her.
With 800 pages.
It's not enough, Josh. Crest was not long enough. I was so sad to be finished. Speculation. Anything you're expecting to see in Winter?
Just expecting Thorne and Cress and Jason and Winter, and that better happen or I will kill Marissa Meyer.
It's all about the ships and the death threats. I'm expecting to see a lot of Luna. Like, I hope...
Yeah, I am so excited to be on Luna.
I hope quite a bit takes place on Luna. I'm looking forward to the revolution and getting to know some more Lunars. I'm pretty sure that the chip that Cinder has that blocks her powers, I think they're going to find a way to mass produce those. I'm really intrigued to see how they handle it. I'm curious about whether Levana's going to die or not.
Yeah.
Like, that could go either way.
You never know in these kind of stories.
If they can block her powers, then it might not be necessary to kill her.
She'll leave her in jail forever with no powers.
But at the same time, she might need to die. And these are based on fairy tales, and the bad guys usually die or have horrible things happen to them.
True.
I feel like they're unduly harsh sometimes.
I want Pearl to get her eyes pecked out by crows.
Oh my gosh, Cinder coming face to face with her stepmother and like making her feel guilty and that not even working, and that scene was so frustrating, and I'm really worried about Cinder. Like, I know Cinder's worried about herself becoming like Levana, and so I know because she's aware there's a problem, she's going to be able to save herself, but I'm worried about her. I really am. She's going into some dark places and kind of embracing some of her darkness, and she's just not, she's not the girl we first met, and I'm worried about the direction she's headed, but I have faith in her, and I know she'll come around, but she's kind of a mess right now.
Except for I really like the part when she tortured the thaumaturs off the edge of the cliff.
It was fabulous, I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, I'm so worried about her.
I like that part.
What about Scarlet being the pet to that little boy?
That was so creepy.
It was the most disturbing thing of all the things, and that is where I'm like, Lunars are just messed up. I really like how that scene was handled, though. One of the things I like about Marissa Meyer is that if there's something really disturbing, she only kind of lightly covers it, and it's there, and it's important, but it's not like we got an entire chapter of Scarlet being tortured. It was just like a page. And it was still super disturbing. Oh my gosh. Lunars. What is wrong with these people?
So I want to find out who, like, the 7 dwarfs are, if they're going to be a part of this.
Yeah.
If there are going to be any 7 dwarves.
Yeah.
Maybe she has, like, a bunch of people as pets or 7 dwarves.
Somebody has to be the guard who's supposed to kill her from the fairy tale.
Maybe Levana's going to try to make Jason kill her.
I kind of had a theory that he was going to be that character, but he might be that character and Prince Charming. Like,
yeah.
He can be both.
Marissa Meyer's just too good.
I've loved all the subtle little fairy tale things. I love the eye drops instead of the tears.
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny.
Except for he wasn't fully healed at the end of the book.
I know.
There was no.
He will be. He will be. We'll get there.
What if he's not though?
I have faith that Thorn will see again. Oh my gosh, the chapters from Thorn's perspective are so amazing because you feel blind.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, she does such a good job of describing, like, sounds and him bumping into things and things that really make you feel like you're not visualizing anything in those scenes. Or, like, you're trying to, but, like, it's disorienting, and I love it. So perfect. She really captured the blindness.
I think it would be really awesome if, like, Marissa Meyer ended the series, but, like, continued on with different kind of fairy tales in the world. Like, they wouldn't have to be big, huge plots, but I think it would be cool if she had, like, little novellas and stuff of, like, different fairy tales.
I would love to see her do more fairy tale retellings.
That would be amazing.
I'm already looking forward to what she's going to do next. Her writing is amazing. It's simple, but powerful. I think it's brilliantly written. I've loved every single one of them, Crest most of all. And I'm really, really looking forward to winter. And I'm going to read Fairest, even though Josh said it was boring, because I like Levana more than he does.
It's true. It was interesting. It just didn't feel like a Lunar Chronicles book, and that was just what I was looking for.
I think I'm going to read it not as a Lunar Chronicles book, like really, really separate. I might even wait a little while to read it, just so I'm completely separated. Like I say, the best thing about these books is the characters, and so it's hard to go off and read one that doesn't have the characters that I love so much.
Yeah.
I already miss them. I just love them all so much.
It's been an hour.
Trolls. Okay, I think we've babbled enough. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Nope.
They're just brilliant. That's really all we're here to say. That's it for us. Thank you for joining us for this book talk. Thanks for watching, and happy reading.
Bye.